morning, health champions. Hopefully you guys are having a good start to your week. I know it's Tuesday. Hopefully you guys, if you're Super Bowl fans, you enjoyed watching that. If not, hopefully you had a good Sunday otherwise. And then as far as Valentine's Day, hopefully you guys had a great one yesterday as well. I worked during the day, but got to spend some time with my family in the evening, so that was nice. So, today we're going to be talking about vitamins. And I know a lot of people usually have questions about these because either can be a little bit confusing. We know we sort of need to have them. Most of us might take a multivitamin once a day, right? But we really don't know what's in it and what our body uses all these vitamins for. So, that's what we're going to discuss. Hopefully we're just going to go over a brief overview. So if you guys want further, more in-depth information, send me a message, send me an email. I'll be happy to go over any of those with you. But essentially, vitamins are a group of organic compounds that are normal for growth and nutrition. So your body needs these in a way in order to be able to function, adequately. So with this here, your body requires them in small amounts in your diet because it can't make them. So this means you need to get them either through taking like a multivitamin or obviously in what foods you're eating. And there's two main categories. You have fat-soluble and water-soluble. Fat-soluble are stored in the fat cells within your body. And so you need dietary fat, the good, healthy fat. Obviously, you don't want to have bad fat, but from your diet, that is, for those vitamins to be absorbed properly. And the four types of fat-soluble vitamins are vitamin A, D, E, and K. And we're going to explore each one of those here in depth in just a little bit, but I'm going to touch upon water-soluble first. So, water-soluble need to be absorbed daily because your body actually gets rid of any extra. So, this means you need to take it in within your diet or through a multivitamin every day in order for your body to have enough. And there's two main categories of water-soluble vitamins. The first are the B vitamins, which obviously have several subcategories, and then vitamin C. So vitamin B is got underneath that there's B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9, and B12. And we'll talk about all of those here in just a minute. But first we're going to go touch back on the water-soluble vitamins and go in a little more in depth on those. So we'll start with vitamin A, and that is also known as retinol. And there's four carotenoids like beta-carotene. And they usually come from some form of animal sources for like the retinols, whereas the carotenoids come from like plant sources. And these, vitamin A helps your body to maintain and form healthy teeth, bones, soft tissue, your mucous membranes, which is like all the soft tissues in your mouth where there's a lot of moisture, and your skin. It's a big thing that most people know it for is, especially when you think of like carrots, beta-carotene, is maintaining your eyesight and preventing night blindness. But it also helps improve your immune system. It helps with fat storage, and it slows down the aging process. So if you're deficient in vitamin A, you're more likely to have night blindness, and then you can have an eye condition where the clear front layer of your eye actually gets dry and cloudy. So when you're trying to consume, obviously enough vitamin A every day, the recommended daily intake for men is 900 micrograms every day. And then for women, it's about 700 micrograms a day. And if you're not going to, most multivitamins have some combination of this in there, and that's why multivitamins usually are, either men-specific or women-specific because of the fact that we need different amounts of each one. But if you're looking to get vitamin A from food sources, there's plenty of options there. You can have dark-colored fruit, obviously carrots. Sweet potatoes is a great one. Pumpkins, is apricots, cantaloupe, dark green leafy vegetables like broccoli, kale, spinach, collard greens. Those are great. Egg yolk is really good. Fortified milk or dairy products, they often add vitamin A to them, so that's helpful if you're a fan of like cheese or yogurt or something. Liver, beef, or fish are other good options for vitamin A. So now we're going to move on to vitamin D, and this is also called the sunshine vitamin because our body makes it after being in the sun. And about 10 to 15 minutes of sunshine exposure, about 3 times a week, is usually enough so that way your body's not deficient. Obviously, if you live in an area where it's cloudy and there's not a lot of sun, some people do end up deficient. It's hard to get vitamin D enough for your body from food sources alone. This is why it's important to get some time outside every week, so you can use an excuse to say, hey, I need to go get my vitamin D time. But vitamin D is really important for your body because it helps it to absorb calcium. And this means that it helps your body maintain proper calcium and phosphorus levels. So that helps with good bone health. So vitamin D and calcium are really important for bone health. And if you're deficient in vitamin D, you're more likely, as a child, you can end up with things like rickets or osteomalacia, which is the softening of the bone. And that can affect, obviously, adults. And then, obviously, as you age, if you don't have enough vitamin D, you're at higher risk for things like osteoporosis and other items like that. So the recommended daily intake of vitamin D is 600 international units a day. And this is for both men and women. And with the key things I mentioned before is sunlight. You want to get out there, get your skin exposed to the sunlight. Obviously, this doesn't mean go get sunburn because that's not good for your skin, but just make sure you're out there getting some sunlight. Sunscreen does help so you don't get burned, but make sure you're getting enough exposure that you're actually, not blocking out too much with the sunscreen. If you are trying to get some vitamin D from your diet, fish is a great way to do that. And then there's different kinds of, you need like fatty fish. We're talking like salmon, mackerel, herring, stuff like that. If you can stomach cod liver oil, you can have it through there. But in order to help people get vitamin D, a lot of foods now are fortified with it, such as cereals and milk or other dairy products. You can also get it from eggs or beef, liver, or mushrooms, if you're a mushroom fan, which I am not. So if you are, enjoy your extra dose of vitamin D from there. Now we're going to move on to the next fat-soluble vitamin, vitamin E. And that is also, it sort of acts as an antioxidant within our body because it helps protect against free radicals. And it also helps promote a healthy nervous system. It helps prevent certain diseases like diabetes and cancer. Vitamin E also helps with the formation of red blood cells. And it helps your body use vitamin K, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. So this is why vitamin E is very important. And while deficiencies in vitamin E are rare, it usually is more of something, that's like hemolytic anemia, something like that for newborns. The recommended daily intake for vitamin E for everybody is 15 milligrams a day. And if you're looking to get it from your diet, some great things are avocado, almonds, eggs. Once again, those dark green leafy vegetables, spinach, broccoli, asparagus, those are great for this. And then different margarines, if they're made from like safflower or sunflower or corn oil. Oils that are made from those same products. Papaya, mango, kiwi, seeds and nuts are a great source of vitamin E. Wheat germ and wheat germ oil. So as far as vitamin E goes, there's obviously a lot of options you can get it from, so you shouldn't be too limited if you don't like some of those things. So when we're talking about vitamin K is absolutely essential for your body because it needs it to help with blood clotting. And so it also helps repair and with bone growth, and it converts glucose to glycogen. So that helps with us storing, energy essentially. If you are deficient in vitamin K, you're more susceptible to having bleeding. And this is where some people who are on certain types of blood thinners, they have to be careful with how much vitamin K they take in because it can make them have significant issues with bleeding. So the recommended daily intake is 120 micrograms a day for men that are 19 and older, and it's 90 micrograms a day for women who are 19 and older. Great sources of vitamin K include cabbage, cauliflower, cereals, the dark green leafy vegetables, and other things like fish, liver, beef, eggs, pumpkin, figs, and parsley. So those are the 4 fat-soluble vitamins. Those are the ones we need to get in a certain amount each day, but our bodies do store those in our cells. So if you have too much, you can actually have too much of those, and that can obviously cause issues as well. So you don't need to have too many of those. Just make sure you get about the recommended daily amount roughly each day, and that should be sufficient. As far as water-soluble vitamins, remember, these are the ones that our body gets rid of anything that's extra every day. So these you can consume a little bit more of, not intentionally, but if you happen to, it's not going to cause any usually significant damage. So let's take a look at the first one, which is vitamin B, which is thiamine. And this helps the body's cells change carbohydrates into energy. And it, obviously for pregnant women or breastfeeding women, this is really important. But it's also essential for heart function and healthy nerve cells. And deficiencies can cause certain things like Burby or Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. So it's not usually something that we have to worry about because most people get enough thiamine in their diet. Recommended daily intake for men 19 and older is 1.2 milligrams a day. For women, it's 1.1 milligrams a day. And then some great sources of vitamin B1 are dried milk, eggs, enriched breads or flour, lean meats, legumes, nuts, seeds, organ meats, peas, whole grains, yeast, pork, sunflower seeds, asparagus, kale, cauliflower, potatoes, oranges, and liver. And there's a lot of options there. And so there's a lot of things to choose from, so you can get your vitamin B from pretty much almost anywhere. So you shouldn't be too deficient in that. So we're going to move on now to vitamin B2, which is also riboflavin. A lot of people know what that. And it works with the other B vitamins to help them do their functions. But it's also important for body growth and the production of red blood cells. And it helps metabolize food. So, deficiencies can cause inflammation of your lips or fissures, which are tiny cracks in your mouth. And the recommended daily intake for men is 1.3 milligrams a day. And for women, it's 1.1 milligrams a day. And then as far as where you can get it from in your diet, it would be whole grains, enriched grains, liver, nuts, seeds, asparagus, bananas, okra, chard, dairy products like cottage cheese, milk, or yogurt, meat, fish, eggs, and green beans. So once again, there's a lot of different options. If you don't like something, there should be something else that you do enjoy that you can get your vitamin B2. So now we're going to go on to B3, which is also known as niacin. And that your body needs for cells to grow and work correctly. And they help maintain healthy skin and nerve cells. And it also lowers your cholesterol. So vitamin B3 is pretty good all the way around, right? And the deficiencies can cause pellagra, which is a condition where you have diarrhea, upset stomach, and skin changes. So the recommended daily intake is 16 milligrams for men and 14 milligrams for women, and that's per day. And then sources for niacin can include avocado, eggs, enriched breads or fortified cereals, fish such as tuna, salmon, or other saltwater fish, lean meats, legumes, nuts, potatoes, which I love potatoes, so that's always a good one, right? Poultry, tomatoes, broccoli, carrots, lentils, and tofu. And so then we're on to vitamin B5, and that right there is also called pantothenic acid, and it's essential for the metabolism of food. So it plays a role in the production of hormones and cholesterol, and deficiency can cause paresthesia, which is where you have this like pins and needly feeling in different parts of your body. The recommended daily intake for B5 is 5 milligrams a day, and that's for both men and women. And you can find B5 in avocado, broccoli, kale, other vegetables in the cabbage type family, eggs, legumes or lentils, milk, mushrooms, organ meat, poultry, white or sweet potatoes, whole grain cereals, and yogurt. So once again, the nice thing about all of these, there's a lot of different sources. So you can find it, hopefully, in something that you like and enjoy. So vitamin B6 is also pyroxidine, and that helps with the formation of red blood cells, helps maintain brain function. It plays an important role in the proteins that are part of many of the chemical reactions within our body. So the more protein you eat, the more vitamin B6 your body requires, so that way it can process that. Deficiencies can include anemia and peripheral neuropathy, which is where you have numbness to your hands and feet. Recommended daily intake is 1.3 milligrams a day for everyone if they're under the age of 50. If you're over the age of 50, you need 1.7 milligrams a day for men and 1.5 milligrams a day for women. And sources of this include avocado, bananas, legumes, meats, nuts, poultry, whole grains, chickpeas, and squash. So now on to B7, which is also biotin. It's essential for the metabolism of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. It helps with the productions of hormone and cholesterol. and it contributes to keratin, which is the structural protein of your skin, hair, and nails. So deficiencies can cause dermatitis, which is like a skin condition, or inflammation of the intestines. And the recommended daily intake, there's not really any ones, but the adequate intake, which is the suggested amount, is about 30 micrograms a day for everyone over the age of 19. And you can find biotin in chocolate, which would be my favorite way to eat it, cereal, broccoli, spinach, cheese, egg yolk, legumes, milk, nuts, organ meat, pork, and yeast. Now we're on to B9, which is also known as folic acid or folinic acid. And this works with B12, which we'll talk about in just a moment, and in the formation of red blood cells. It's essential for making DNA and RNA. And if you have a deficiency in this, it can cause like fetal neurological development issues. For adults, there's not usually too much of an issue with that. As I said before, the water-soluble vitamins, we usually get a lot of these and aren't really deficient. The recommended daily intake of folic acid is 400 micrograms a day for everybody. If you're planning on getting pregnant or are currently pregnant, that increases somewhere from 400 to 1,000 micrograms a day. And great sources include asparagus, broccoli, beets, brewer's yeast, dried beans, and this can be like cooked pinto beans, navy beans, guinea beans, lima beans, whichever type of bean basically. Fortified cereals, once again those green leafy vegetables are in here. Lentils, oranges, orange juice, peas, peanut butter, that would be my favorite way to get it. Sunflower seeds, and wheat germ. Now we're on to vitamin B12, which is the last of the B vitamins, and that's also known as cyclocobalamin, and it's important for metabolism. It helps with the formation of red blood cells. It's essential for your central nervous system to function correctly. And if you have deficiencies in it, you can have neurological problems and obviously anemia because of the issue with red blood cell production. Animal sources are much better absorbed as far as how your body can process it than plant sources, but you can get it from plant sources. The recommended daily intake is 2.4 micrograms a day, and that's for everybody. So sources include meat, eggs, fortified foods such as cereal, soy milk, or nutritional yeast, milk or milk products, organ meats, poultry, fish, and shellfish. We're on to the last of the water-soluble vitamins, and that's vitamin C, which is also called ascorbic acid. And this acts as an antioxidant in supporting the immune system. It promotes healthy teeth and gums, helps your body absorb iron. It promotes wound healing. It contributes to collagen production and bone formation. It strengthens your blood vessels. So as you can see, vitamin C is very important for our body overall. If you're deficient in it, you can end up with scurvy, which is what they had back in, when you think of, I hear the word scurvy, I think of a pirate ship, and the pirates having scurvy, which is when you have bleeding teeth, loss of gums, poor tissue growth, and wound healing. And the key thing to remember here is any food that has vitamin C in it, if you cook the food, you're going to lose the vitamin C because the cooking, the heat process actually destroys vitamin C. If you're starting to get sick, supplementing with vitamin C in higher doses can be helpful because obviously of its immune system properties. But the recommended daily intake is somewhere between 65 to about 90 milligrams a day for everybody. The upper limit, though, so this is if you're trying to, you're not feeling well and you want to up your dose a little bit of vitamin C, you just don't go over 2,000 milligrams a day. So that's a big thing. You want to go above that. But great sources of vitamin C include broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, citrus fruits, obviously, potatoes, spinach, strawberries, tomatoes, and tomato juice. So as you can see, there's a lot going on with vitamins. Your body needs all of these, and it's obviously various different levels. Everybody's a little bit different as far as how much, but we have a general idea as far as, the recommended daily intakes for everybody. But the food sources are great, and as you probably notice, a lot of the food sources are similar. So the nice thing is, when you're eating the food, broccoli is featured a lot in a lot of different things. You're getting a lot of nutrients in one food. And that's a good thing because then you're getting a variety of nutrients. Versus if you're, trying to take it in a pill form, yes, you're getting it in, but it's just better to have a variety of food sources. A, you're going to enjoy it more. your body's more prone to processing natural food. So if you need to, obviously go back, rewatch the video. I know it was a lot of information, so but this is very important to understand because obviously our body needs these to function. But I wanted to take a minute here. Thank you guys for watching. If you have questions, comments, put it below the video. Send me a message. Send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. And if you guys have nothing going on for lunch today, join me. I've got a free webinar I'm doing talking about how to improve your health without having to do any crazy diets, insane workouts, take up too much of your time, which I know is valuable. So join me at 12 o'clock Eastern for that. And there's a registration link on the group page, so definitely join me. You guys will definitely get some benefit from that. Otherwise, thank you for joining me today, and I will see you guys next week. And until then, you guys stay healthy.